It can feel so hard to change your limiting beliefs. You might recognize the stories and beliefs that keep looping within, and you might even understand where they come from. And yet, somehow, the old patterns still pull you back. It can feel discouraging, especially when you've done so much inner work already. From a somatic perspective, there's a reason these beliefs have so much staying power. It's because they aren't just thoughts that you can swap out with new ones. They're living memories of who you had to be and what you had to believe in order to stay safe or loved during overwhelming moments earlier in life. They come from younger parts of you who learned very honestly that love required caretaking, or that visibility came with risk, or that expressing your needs led to disappointment. And even now, these parts still live within you. And you can often feel these beliefs in your body before the thoughts appear. Maybe it shows up as a heaviness in your chest when you start to step into something new, or that familiar tightening in your belly when you imagine expressing yourself. These beliefs live in the moments when you second guess yourself, when you shrink a little to stay safe, or when something inside pulls you back from what you really want. But these patterns didn't emerge from nowhere. They make sense in the context of your lived experience and the pain your body has carried from past wounds or moments of overwhelm. So when you notice yourself falling back into an old belief or behavior, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means that a younger part of you is still holding on, doing what it once needed to do to protect you. I talked about this in depth in yesterday's episode, A Somatic Perspective on Limiting Beliefs. So if you want more insight and education about how these beliefs live in your body and inner world, be sure to check that out. But today's episode is a guided parts work meditation for releasing limiting beliefs, where we'll gently attune to the part that lives beneath your belief itself. The part that still carries the pain, fear, or unmet needs from the past. We'll meet this part in a compassionate, body-centered way using a somatic emotional processing technique called regenerating images in memory, or RIM. It's a tender process that often brings deep insight and release, because true healing comes from presence and attunement. It comes from listening to what lives underneath the belief, feeling it in your body, and offering it the compassion it has always deserved. And when you do that, the parts that have been holding these beliefs so tightly begin to soften. They realize they're no longer alone. And as they shift, the beliefs that once felt so absolute begin to loosen, and the emotions that once felt overwhelming begin to move. And that is the depth we reach through this body-centered parts work process. We don't simply change our thoughts, we change the relationship we have with our inner world. And from that relationship, we create meaningful and lasting change in our beliefs and patterns. Welcome to Somatic Healing Meditations, the podcast that helps you regulate your nervous system, deepen your healing journey, and feel better in your body. I'm Karenna with Hello Inner Light, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm a somatic healing coach who specializes in compassionate, body-centered processing that helps you heal the wounds that are holding you back. So if that's the kind of content you need more of in your life, please subscribe to this podcast and join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Before we dive into this incredible body-centered parts work process, I just want to mention something really special. Applications are now open for Rooted and Resilient, my small 6-month group coaching program for deep somatic healing. If you've spent years trying to change your patterns through mindset work or therapy, but still feel stuck in the same emotional loops, this is the space where things finally shift. In Rooted and Resilient, we lovingly utilize body-centered parts work, somatic emotional processing, and gentle nervous system repair to help you release what's been held within for so long and create real embodied change from the inside out. This is the most in-depth and supportive way to work with me, and it's truly for those who are ready to move beyond just understanding and into actual transformation. So if that speaks to you, I'd love for you to learn more and apply through the link in the show notes. Now, here's a quick word from the sponsors that make all this free content possible. Now let's dive into this parts work meditation for releasing limiting beliefs. Finding a time and a space where it's safe and comfortable to close your eyes and turn your attention within. And with your eyes closed, bring your awareness to your breath. Noticing that you can feel the rise and fall of your chest and tummy that happens naturally with every inhale and every exhale. On your next breath, imagine that you could breathe in through your heart and out through your belly button. Even imagining that you could feel the space or the distance between your heart and your belly button. Imagining on your next breath that you could breathe in through your throat and out through your shoulders on both sides. Again, imagining that you could feel the space or the distance between your throat and your shoulders. Imagining on your next breath that you could breathe in through your right ear and out through your left elbow. Feeling the space or the distance. Breathing in through your left ear and out through your right elbow. Feeling the space or the distance. And then imagining that you could breathe in through your knees and out through the soles of your feet. Feeling the space or the distance between your knees and your feet. And then just breathing in and out through your heart. And as you're gently breathing in and out through your heart, you're just dropping into your inner world a little bit more and a little bit more with every breath. And now, go ahead and bring to mind the limiting belief that you want to work with today. And as you bring that limiting belief to mind, your body is going to have a reaction. So just feel and notice the reaction in your body. And noticing where you feel this reaction most in your body right now. Is it more on the right side or the left side? Or maybe it's on both sides or right in the center. Is this reaction in your body more deep or superficial? Or it might be both or neither. And you may be able to answer these questions very easily, or maybe you don't have answers to all of the questions that I'm posing to you. And either way is okay. There's no way to do this wrong. You're just asking the questions of yourself and noticing whatever you notice. How big is this reaction in your body? Or how much space does it take up within or around you? Noticing the height, width, thickness, and shape of this reaction in your body. What color is this reaction? Does this reaction have a texture or a quality to it? What descriptive words might you use to describe this reaction in your body? Notice if it's moving or still. If it's warm or cool or neither. Breathing and just noticing all of the body sensations and feelings that are related to this limiting belief. And we're going to call that reaction all of the feelings, the size, the color, the texture, everything that you just noticed in your body. We're going to call that the part of you that's carrying this limiting belief. So, thinking of these body sensations as the part of you that's carrying this limiting belief, and just remind yourself that this part is carrying this limiting belief for a reason. And if it could have let go of this limiting belief already, it would have. And this part, just like all parts of you, deserves compassion and love and support. And we're going to do some deeper work with this part. But before we do that, your imagination is going to call forward a virtual resource to be here with you. And a virtual resource is like a guide or an angel or a friend or a kind and loving ancestor. It's really anyone or anything that is safe, loving, and powerful. So just notice who shows up to be here with you. And if no one shows up to be here with you, just know that you're surrounded by your circle of guardians. So taking a breath and noticing what it feels like to have your virtual resource or this circle of guardians with you. And this virtual resource or circle of guardians is going to be with you every step of the way as you work with this part. And now, bring your awareness back to the part. The color, the shape, the location, the size, whatever it is that you noticed before. And with your virtual resource with you every step of the way, you're just going to draw closer to this part that's carrying this limiting belief. And now, your imagination takes your awareness into this part. You become this part. You become the shape, the color, the feeling. You know what it knows and you feel what it feels. You even look out through its perspective. So breathing and feeling what it's like to be this part. And then as this part, you're going to speak. And as this part, you're just going to say, what it's like to be me is. breathing and feeling and being this part. Speaking as this part, you're just going to say, what I'm really feeling deep down is. Breathing and feeling and surrendering even more into this part. And speaking as this part, you're just going to say, what I really want or need when I feel this way is. Breathing and feeling and speaking as this part, you're just going to say, what I'm afraid would happen if I let go of this limiting belief is. Breathing and feeling and being this part. Now speaking as this part, you're just going to say, what I'd rather do if I didn't have to carry this limiting belief for you is. Now breathing and being this part, you're just going to say, how it feels to say this is. And now just speaking anything else that wants to be spoken from this part until that feels complete. And now, whenever you feel ready, your imagination is going to take your awareness out of this part and back into your whole self. Back into the wholeness and totality of you. So taking a breath and landing in your whole self. So, as your whole self, look at that part and receive a stream of colored energy coming from that part, representing everything it just shared with you. Noticing the color and the quality of that stream of colored energy. And noticing where you receive it in your body first. Just fully receiving that entire stream of energy until that feels complete. And then, as your whole self, you're going to speak back to the part, and you're just going to say to the part, what I heard from you, or what I received from you is. Breathing and feeling and being your whole self. As your whole self, speaking back to that part, you're just going to say how it feels to hear this and receive this from you is. Breathing and feeling and being your whole self. As your whole self, you're going to speak back to that part and you're just going to say, what I want to say to you is. Breathing and feeling and being your whole self. And as your whole self, speaking to this part, you're just going to say how it feels to connect with you like this is. And now just speaking anything else that wants to be spoken from your whole self back to that part until that feels complete. When you feel ready, your imagination is going to take you back into that part where you started. And the part may feel really different, it may have shifted, or it may be totally the same. And again, there's no way to do this wrong. So just noticing that part again, that part where we started, and your imagination just takes your awareness into that part one more time. Surrendering into that part. And then as that part, you're going to look back at your whole self. And as that part, you're going to receive a stream of colored energy coming from your whole self, representing everything that was just shared with you. So noticing the color and the quality of that stream of colored energy. And as that part, just noticing where you receive that energy in your body first, and fully receiving it. Now, as that part, just speak back to your whole self. And as that part, you're just going to say, what I heard from you or what I received from you is. Now breathing and being this part. And as this part just speaking to your whole self, you're just going to say how it feels to hear this and receive this from you is. Breathing and being this part. And as this part, you're just going to say, what I'm realizing now is. And breathing and feeling. And now as this part, just speak anything else that wants to be spoken until that feels complete. And then when that feels complete, your imagination is going to take your awareness out of this part and back into your whole self one more time. So landing back in your whole self, this last time. And just feel how you feel now. So take a few breaths and just take this all in. And see if there's anything else that wants to happen between your whole self and this part. And if there is, just let it happen now. And we're going to bring this meditation to a close in just a few breaths. So go ahead and ask your body if there's anything else it wants or needs before we bring this to a close. And just listen for any answer you get. And whenever you feel ready, your unconscious mind is going to let you know that all of this is fully integrated into your cellular memory and your emotional memory by bringing full feeling and weight back into your arms and legs, fingers and toes, and spontaneously opening your eyes. Great work. So I'm curious, how was that parts work meditation for you? Were you able to connect with a part? And what did you learn about your limiting belief? What feels different now? I would love to hear, so please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. As a reminder, you're invited to join me in Rooted and Resilient, my 6-month group coaching program where we dive into this healing paradigm deeply. Rooted and Resilient is a beautiful space where you'll learn to meet the parts of yourself that carry old wounds and beliefs, and you'll help them feel safe enough to soften, update, and heal. Plus, it's by far the deepest and most transformative way to work with me. Enrollment is open now, and you can find all of the information in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to the podcast and also rate and review it. You could also send this episode to a friend who you think would enjoy it. And don't forget to join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self.